Welcome back to Shall You Proceed podcast. I have with me today another amazing boss woman in this world. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to interview all these women, and I'm so happy to have Ilhiana Rojas with me. Rojas with me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to have you with me here today. It's an honor because you are so accomplished. There's so much you have going on with yourself. And I'm like, she wants to talk to me. She wants to sit with me. I feel honored. I'm just so overwhelmed. So before we go any further, please tell my audience a little bit more about you.
Of course. Well, I'm Ilhiana Rojas. I'm originally from Mexico. And 3 years ago, and we'll talk later a little bit about my previous life, but in my current life, I'm a coach and a consultant. I have my own practice, and I help women of color. Well, I help all women, but mostly women of color and Latinas to move from ordinary to extraordinary by guiding them to embrace their purpose, elevate their voice, and expand their potential. And I have a variety of programs to help them accomplish this extraordinary life through either individual, career, and executive coaching or leadership coaching, or I help them build their personal brand, and all of this with the final objective of helping, people and my clients craft those fearless strategies for their next bold career move.
You say all that, but listen, there's so much more to you. Your career and your journey is amazing. Okay. And we're not going to breeze over that. So, you're this boss woman. Let's talk about, you didn't wake up one day and say, this is what I want to do. So your journey when you were a little girl, what were your first dreams and how did you get to this point?
Well, my career has been definitely unconventional, and I love that you make me remember my little girl's dreams. It all started being a ballerina, and I was a prima ballerina in my teenage years, and then that sort of went away, and I went to college and I studied chemical engineering. That was really my background. And after I graduated from college, I went straight into marketing because that's the logical thing you do after you graduate from chemical engineering.
And that's not even the same brain. That's not even the same brain working. Like engineers think a totally different way, and marketing is more that creative outside the box. I'm not even sure how that happened, but hey.
It was just an opportunity that came up, and I at that time I didn't see why not. It just made sense, and I tried it, and it worked. And actually, that's what I did for the next 20 years of my career, mostly in marketing. I did also sales and business building and a couple of other things, but mostly I did marketing through that time. And I grew. I got even to, and all of this mostly in Mexico. Up to getting to an executive position in the company that I was in. And then there was an opportunity to come to the US, to specifically Rhode Island, where I'm currently living with my husband and 2 daughters. And that was like living the dream life for a very long time, until it wasn't. Until I hit that roadblock that many of us hit along the way, and I realized that I didn't enjoy that life anymore. And when you are working in with brands that have to do with toys and entertainment, and kids, and bringing joy to kids in their lives, and you're not having fun, like, that's a red flag that something is off. So that's when I realized that path was not meant for me anymore. And then went to search for my new next career move. And that's when I realized that through all of that time, what I really enjoyed to do was to help my teams become high-performing teams, help my leaders become high-performing leaders. And I now believe that that was the reason for the success that I had. So now I wanted to do that full-time versus just a piece, a part of my
Right.
role. So that's when I decided to become a coach and have my own business doing that full time. So now I'm back on track, loving every day, everything that I do, and enjoying it fully.
You have to find your purpose. And, many of us, we graduate or we're working and we're just happy that we're making money. Like, this is the most we've made. I'm able to live comfortably. I can eat where I want, do what I want. I'm making money. As long as it's paying, I'm happy. But then as we grow as women and as individuals, we realize I'm not fulfilled. I'm not fulfilling my total purpose. And we don't know the word is purpose yet. We just know there's so much more in me, or is this all I am? We question ourselves. Is this all I'm good for? Is this all I really can do? And after a while, it gets repetitive. Marketing and sales is all about the sell, the next thing. And it's like, that's not fun. But when you're developing a team and you're molding them and you're giving them those gems, those tools, and you're seeing them grow, it makes you even more happy because I planted a seed, they're using it, and look at that harvest, right? And then that's the nice part of it. But if you don't get that every day and you're like, I can just train, but then, you have to be fulfilled. And it's hard to stay in any career and you're not happy. You can make zero money, but if you're happy, then you're happy. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. So coming from Mexico here, because you was in New York, you said, right? Mexico straight to New York?
To Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. What was the struggle for you culturally and environmentally when you moved from Mexico to Rhode Island?
Oh my God, it was, everybody told me, like, when you move a house or when you do like these kind of changes, it's hard. I didn't realize how hard it was, even going to the grocery store. I mean, there's Walmart here, there's Walmart in Mexico. You'd think you'd know how to purchase groceries. Even that was a struggle, trying to understand what 2% milk was. So I was like, I'm guessing it's milk, right? But all of that, and there were many little things, like even those. But I would say, from a cultural perspective, I've spoken English since a very young age, because in Mexico, my parents put my brother and myself in a British school. So it's not my first language, but it's very close to it. So I've been speaking English quite well, and I thought I wouldn't have an issue, right? Like I understand pretty good. And when I got here, there were a lot of conversation, even to this day, 10 years later, where I feel like I'm, in the Snoopy cartoons where they're at school, and exactly, and the teacher's going wah 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 wah, and you from an audience, you're like, I don't understand, but everybody else seems to understand. To this day, I still feel that way sometimes in conversation.
You're not alone.
I'm like, I still don't know. I know we're all speaking English. I still don't understand what's happening. And what happened was that made me lose a lot of self-confidence, because you ask, a question on, excuse me, like, can you repeat it again? And when somebody repeats the same thing with the exact same words that you didn't understand, it's like, okay, that's exactly what I didn't understand. So you ask again. And when they start looking at you like, seriously, like, don't you understand? You start feeling like
you lose confidence and you start doubting yourself.
Yeah. So you start shutting down and you stop asking questions. You figure out on your own, and all of that has this impact on you and the way that you're performing. So you think you're here, and now you're here, and now you're doubting yourself. And that is just one of the examples of the many things that I started to struggle with, that I thought I was good at, and then suddenly I was like, well, maybe I'm not that good. Well, maybe I don't know how to do this. So it was a struggle, and now I at least acknowledge it, and I've stopped being afraid of asking. That for a very long time, it was a big fear.
And understandably, I think it's not just not taking away from your experience, but I feel a lot of us feel that way as we age and in the room gets a little bit younger and you're getting older and you're like, what is that? What are you talking about? And then you don't realize you're asking for clarity and you don't want to say, listen, I do not understand the words you just strung together. Change the variation because I'm not getting it. Please give me grace because I'm not understanding. My sister-in-law's from Thailand, one of my sister-in-laws from Thailand, and she understands, but when she wants to respond, it's different. And she's like, she gets frustrated and I can see it. And she's like, I know what I want to say. Just can't say it. So I totally understand that. So I want to get into, you had your big moment. You realize it's time for a change through all the struggles of understanding, not understanding those barriers. What made you decide to totally jump out on your own? I know you were in marketing. You went to school for engineering. Okay. Never worked in it, clearly, right? You did marketing, you love the training part, you love building and developing. So now you have BeLive,
Yes.
Coaching and Consulting.
Yes.
So you have you said, listen, I can't work for anyone else anymore. Forget that. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to give, and I know what I can give. So now you have BeLive. How was it when you finally said, I'm going to do this on my own? And here it is. How was that for you?
Oh my God. It was terrifying, like terrifying. Now you make it sound like such an easy decision, but it really wasn't. The moment that I moved out of corporate, that I knew the end was coming. So it was sort of like a joint decision between me leaving and being kindly asked to leave. And the question was, can I really do this on my own? It's a completely new thing, and I did for I want to say almost a year, try to like build it, but would I go back to corporate? I still need to pay some bills. I'm trying to find my way, and all those doubts. You have your good days and your bad days, especially as an entrepreneur, and you start questioning yourself, like, am I really going to be able to make this? I had a really nice 6-figure income before. It was like, how am I going to be able to get to that place? And all those self-doubts come in until one very dear friend just told me, you know what, either you're all in or you're not. But if you're like in the middle lane, you're never going to be either one way or another. And that's going to continue to hinder, your self-confidence and all of this. So it's, putting the stake on the ground, and it was like, okay, I'm all in, and fear aside. But it did take, it wasn't an easy path. I want to say it did take almost a year between back and forth and yes, I can and no, and until finally it was like, yes, I'm all in. And that's when things turned around.
And I can still tell it's a little bit uncomfortable to talk about because you have to own it. I know you own it, but I know how hard it is to talk about ourselves and to really tell someone all that we do, because we don't realize, I do a lot. So this is a big deal. I'm kind of a big deal here, people. This is, jump on the bandwagon. I'm a big deal. So let's talk about your coaching and what you offer.
Well, I focus mainly on 3 things, either individual coaching for mostly women, but I do have several clients that are men that are in 3 different phases of their lives. Either they're completely stuck and they have no idea what's next. So it's trying to what you were saying earlier, figure out their purpose, figure out their next step, their path, and do that. The other is people that are looking for professionals that are looking to build their brand. They have a path, they know what they want, but they haven't found how to really stand out from the rest. How do I share my story? So it's really build that strong brand. And then The third are leaders that they have the path, they have a brand, but they're trying to get, not only themselves positioned in a different way within their companies or their organizations or their businesses, but also become inspiring leaders that can help and inspire and enable, their teams to move forward with them. So it's those three different approaches. And in all of them, that my engineering mindset sort of kicks in, where I have set processes. In most cases, I call them like accelerator programs, where we come in 8 sessions and on to the next, because there's not a lot of time to waste, so to speak.
Right.
Not a lot of people have, the 18-month or year to try to figure this out. It's like, we need to figure things out and change and transform fast. So through the formulas and the programs that I have, I take them through what I call these accelerator programs of eight sessions in and out.
Right. So let me ask you, so with all of that, have you found it in 2020 with everything that was going on, did you have to shift your approach and also your classes? Because now, when you have these trainings, you're in the room, you're engaging, you're talking, you're feeding off the energy, so you can actually tell who's getting it, who's not, or what do I need to adjust on a dime to make sure that everyone gets the same feel. But with 2020, March of 2020, clearly, and some of us earlier, the world shut down, but companies really could not in some instance.
Yeah.
So how was it for you being in business for yourself, and your job is actually going into the room and changing lives? How did you change your approach in 2020?
Oh my God, it was crazy. I remember perfectly that March 13th, almost a little more than a year ago, where I practically lost all my business because, to your point, it was either individual coaching where our sessions were in person, or going into companies and organizations for in-person trainings and workshops. And suddenly I started to get all these emails that same day saying, you know what, either the contracts are canceled, the events are canceled, or anything that I had was either put on hold or canceled. So I went from, yes, my business is thriving, to I have absolutely no business.
Yeah.
And just like a handful of clients that I still had at the time, because we were like on the tail end, but that was it. After that, there was nothing. So you're right. It was after a weekend of crying, basically, because you're like, what's going to happen?
And you're human. Listen, we all shed some tears because people didn't know they would have a job or not. So I get it. Yeah.
It was hard. And then after that, it was, well, you know what? Here we go again. It's not going to be the first time. Hopefully, it's going to be the last of that kind of dramatic. And it was, to your point, pivoting and becoming creative and talking to, by then I had built a really strong network of other women that we support each other, which I didn't have in the past. And I've realized the importance of that. So it was, get on the phone and how do we come out of this? What do you have? What do I have? What are the ideas? All of that. And through that, I was able to pivot my business in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But it was really through the support, and it was reinventing without moving dramatically away from what I was doing. The purpose was still there. The objective was still there. It was more of being creative on the execution and the approach to how I was doing things. And then other opportunities came up, which I hadn't even thought of. But it was through these conversations, through these contacts and this virtual world, that before my business was very local, I want to say 95% local. And now I have a program in Europe. I have 2 programs in Latin America. I have several clients and programs in the US from East Coast to West Coast. So it really has expanded, but it was just removing again that fear of can I not? It was just like, okay, now it's Zoom, then let me figure out how did you do this? Or now it's StreamYard or all these apps. And it's like,
Ah,
okay, I'm going to have to figure them out and
no excuses. No
no excuses,
excuses.
no
Yeah.
excuses. It was like that was it, and you just like Googled like how do I do this, and on the spot, and you smile, and it's like you've done this forever, right? Even if it's
Google
your
and YouTube has saved my life on so many occasions.
oh
Okay.
my god,
Ah,
yeah.
so you are a businesswoman. You're a motivator. You had your ups and downs, and thank you for being so transparent about 2020 because so many of us curled up in a ball and cried because we were not sure. And beforehand, people love to tell you, open, have a business, be an entrepreneur. That's the reality of entrepreneurship, that there's going to be a time when you can't control what's happening. And if your business is all about direct contact and that contact is taken, how will you now pivot and make a change? So on top of all of that, you're also a motivational speaker. Okay. You are out here lending your voice, not just in training for businesses. You're out there motivating and speaking to people. What made you shift into that as well?
So I think that comes from my very early stage when I was a ballerina and being on stage. I just loved being on stage and transmitting all of these stories and things with the audience. I really enjoyed that. So when the speaking opportunity came, when I was invited to an event to speak, all of that thrill came in, and I was like, yes, this is I need to go back to the stage and continue to share the story, continue to share all of the things that I had to share within either my programs or whatever the trainings that I was doing, but in a different way to larger audiences. So it started small until I ended up in a couple of stages in Europe and in Latin America and TV shows. And I was like, yeah, this is something that I also enjoy doing, because the impact of sharing those stories with larger audiences was still there. And then that in the end is part of the purpose, is being able to have that transformation or that inspire that transformation on others. And as long as that's accomplished, the form and the format and the way to do that, it just, I'll make it happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so besides that, okay, you're an author. You are a published author. Okay. So your first book, I'm assuming this is your first
Yeah.
book, Your Path to Extraordinary, Meaningful Transformation. Tell me what made you put this together and how long have you had this?
That was plain fear. So,
Yes.
like I said, I'm an engineer. So for
Mhm.
me, give me numbers, give me like things that are from an analytical perspective. And I've always thought or believed that I couldn't write. And it was always a struggle when I had to write things, like deep things in thought. And as I was working with a client, I realized that I couldn't be honest and fully, ask her to do something and to overcome certain fears if I wasn't overcoming my own fear.
Right.
I wasn't walking the talk, and I just couldn't feel honest at that moment in time. So I said, okay, what's my biggest fear? Writing is my biggest fear. So I decided that I wanted to write a book, and it really wasn't with the thought of, oh my God, I wanted to be the bestseller or anything. It was literally just to overcome that fear of saying, I can do this, and I'm going to do it in a way that feels comfortable to me, and that I can still share all of these practical tactics and strategies, because I'm a content creator, that I do love to do. And I had all this content. So I was like, well, then I'm going to use that to build this book and to put it out there. But it was more of an internal challenge to me to say, I just need to do this. Otherwise, I can't keep asking other people to face their fears if I don't face my own fear.
Right.
So
Right.
that was how your path to extraordinary was born.
And so you, out of fear, and when you operate in fear, it can be great fear or debilitating fear. But that fear is the point of, and my friend calls it discomfort. When you're uncomfortable, it's time to make some adjustments. Like when you're getting uncomfortable, or when you're too comfortable, ask yourself, why am I so comfortable? And then if you're too uncomfortable, time to move. And that can be because you've outgrown that space. You're no longer serving your purpose, or you never was. So I love that. Out of fear, everything you seem to do is out of fear. You moved here out of fear. You left, your job had a transition out of fear. Then you had to take on the barriers of living here and launching a business in a country that clearly can be welcoming or not, can have barriers or not. And this is what you're doing. 2020 hits and you're like, what's happening? Now, instead of being local, you have expanded, and now you're worldwide. So you've now added onto that another book. So let's discuss International Women of Color Who Boss Up. What made you say, okay, let's do this again? let's try this again. What made you do that?
Oh my God, that opportunity came up, and I was like, yes, I need to be on that book. Tam, who is the brain and the driver of International Women of Color. Well, women of that who boss up, and then this is the fourth edition. Reached out and shared her vision of what she wants this series to be. And I was like, yes, I'm in. Like, I just want to be a part of this, not only from the book perspective and continue to overcome that fear of writing, but also because I think the mission aligns perfectly with my mission of sharing stories and sharing and inspiring other women to be able to say, I can do this. And how have being, seeing yourself reflected in other women that can then give you the power to overcome those fears. So for me, it's been an incredible experience.
Right.
And the group of women that are in this book have just been amazing. And just hearing their stories makes me like, oh my God, it's just so empowering. And I'm just so excited to be a part of this great opportunity.
And I'm excited for you. Tam is a force to be reckoned with. I do not know how she does it, but clearly she does. And she truly is a cultivator of beautiful souls and minds, and truly is a cheerleader to make sure not just her own voice is out there, everyone's voice is out there. If you're doing something positive and with purpose, she wants to cheerlead you and put you out there. And so that is amazing. And, look at that. You're bossing up. You're a true boss. Look at you. I mean, look what you got going on. You're so humble about it, but clearly you have a lot going on, and you have utilized your own skills already within you. The engineering side, which is great for organization. You can't be just creative and not organized. And also your love of feeding into other people to make them better leaders. And everyone has a position. Everyone has a point. Some are going to be the one leading the pack. Some are going to be the right-hand person, left-hand person. But having that skill to mold everyone to know where they need to be is a true talent, is a true talent. So besides all of that, what else can we look in store for you?
At this point in time, I've stopped saying no. Well, I do say no, but I've stopped saying I can't, and I've stopped saying that's not going to be my path, because now I'm open. In addition to my business, I serve in several boards as volunteer nonprofits, organizations, and then as advisor, all of them with the same or similar missions and purposes, which is in some way to support women, to support underrepresented groups, but to really, push us all forward. And that's where I see my life continuing on for, forever until I'm not here anymore. It's anything that has to do with supporting others and helping them reach that sense of fulfillment, which definitely is possible and is achievable. It's you just need the right person to cheer you on, to give you the hint, to give you the support that you need. So if that's needed, then I'll definitely be there.
Well, I am here to see it all happen for you. I am excited that I got a chance to sit with you and speak with you, talk to you, and just get a little bit of, who you are. So if I wanted to sign up and I wanted to reach out to you, how can we find you? Where are you? I want to join. What do I need to do?
Well, two places. My website, definitely, you've shown it, is a place where people can reach me, can see everything that I do, and can contact me. And the other place is LinkedIn. I'm mostly there on both my personal LinkedIn page and my business LinkedIn page. That, I would say, is where I do most of this virtual networking and interaction. I also have my Facebook page and my Instagram page, which are BeLive Coach and BeLive Coaching. However, for the most part, LinkedIn through my name or my website, my BeLive Coaching and Consulting page. That's really where I live.
Where you live and
Where
what
I
you
live.
do, LinkedIn will be the perfect place to find you, because
Yes.
I know there's many businesses who had to transition and change and adjust after 2020. Either their team got smaller, it got bigger, they realized I didn't need certain things or I need more things. So they really need to reach out to you and get on board and have you help them. So I'm excited. I'm happy that I spoke with you. I'll make sure all your information is in the show description, and I'll make sure that your website and your book is in the show description. Women Who Boss Up, when is it coming out for your book?
It's coming out in May. We're very excited.
Yeah.
We're in the final stages, so yay! I can't wait.
I know.
One of those big goals.
That is
for
exciting,
the year.
exciting. So we have Your Path to Extraordinary that you can find on your website.
Yep.
And we have International Women of Color Who Boss Up coming out in May. And all those links are on your website. Ilhiana, thank you so very much for coming on. You are a joy and a delight. It was so wonderful talking to you. And just know you can come on anytime. Contact me. You are welcome to promote, just to come talk. You can just come talk to me anytime you want to. It's been a true pleasure. Thank you so very much. Make sure everyone follow Ilhiana, go to LinkedIn, go to her information, sign up for your business to get some help and leadership. She is the person to go to. Make sure you follow my show on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Pandora, Amazon, you name it, I am there. Thank you so much, Ilhiana. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you so much for providing the space. I truly enjoyed it. Thank you.
You are so welcome.